Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sandy Zimmer, and today I'm going to show you how to make this fun Northern Lights or Aurora Borealis card using the June stamp of the month from Close to My Heart called Botanical Shadows. So I'm going to use this tree line here, and with the help of my Misty, I'm going to just continuously stamp on here. And you'll see that I just set down a piece of paper there that's just a scratch paper that I've sort of torn, and it's just going to sort of create my hillside for me. So I'm just rubbing that down really good. I'm using my intense black ink there. And I'm going to do this a couple of times just to make sure that I get a really good impression. Sometimes with these bigger stamps, it's a little harder to get a great impression. So that's why I really like using my Misty for these. So there we go. And then I'm also going to go in a little while here, and I'm going to use my Versamark ink as well. And so you'll see that I'm going to clean off my stamp here, and then I'm going to use my Versamark ink. And that's going to give me a little bit of a sticky surface on my stamp, and then obviously on my card front here as well. And then I'm going to be able to use my clear embossing powder on top of that. So that's just going to give me a bit of a shimmer and a shine, as well as it's going to make the other inks that I put over top of it not stick to that area. So I really like using that technique. If you've got a Misty, this works great. So there is the powder there. You'll see that I lifted off and that little piece of paper just sort of slipped out of there. And I have my embossing powder in this container, so it's really easy to just roll that embossing powder on it and then put it back in the container. I'm grabbing my heat tool here and heating it up. So you'll see at first it looks like it's kind of white and grainy, and as the heat tool heats it, it turns to a black shiny finish, which I absolutely love. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you could do this. We don't have black embossing powder anymore. So the clear stuff works great. You can put whatever color ink you want underneath it, put the Versamark over top of it, and then you can go ahead and heat it up like that. So these are just the distress oxides that I'm using. You can also stamp with distress oxide and then use the embossing powder on top of them as well. So that would have worked as well. So here I am just going down a little bit farther from that tree line than I was, pushing it up into this frame here a little bit better. And I'm going to create my Aurora Borealis here, or my Northern Lights. I'm going to start with that yellow, and that's that mustard seed. And so you can just see here, I've just taken that dome off, and that's also what I was using to rub on my Misty to get the impression down there really good. So I'm just going to take that yellow, that mustard seed, and I'm just going to do some swipes from that scratch paper and then going up. And that's going to give me the look of the Aurora Borealis in the background. And you can just do it very randomly. There's no rhyme or reason to it because it's just part of nature, right? So now I'm also going to use this peacock feathers, and here I'm using the blending brush. And that helps me to sort of get a little bit more streaks with it. I'm going over that yellow as well so that I'm getting, you know, that blend of the yellow, the green, and then the blue. And now I'm coming in with the candied apple, and this one I'm coming in from the top just to create a little bit of a difference of where those are coming from and to fill in those empty spaces. I do go up a little bit here just to get that color all over the place here. And now I'm just using a dry Kleenex here to just wipe off that embossed portion because there's a little bit of ink sitting on top of it. Now I have a little spritzer here that I filled with water, and I'm just going to blot that off, and then I'm going to heat set it here real quick as well just to make sure that it's dry before I put it on my card front. Now you can skip this step if you want. It does lighten up the distress oxides a tiny bit, but it also sort of gives you that starry sky, which I really like. So you can decide which way you want to go. So now I'm using that black soot distress oxide. I'm coming in there with that torn paper that I had and moving it down just a tiny bit. I just want to create, again, a little bit of a line there. And there's a couple ways you can do this, but this is how I chose to do it on this one. Now I'm just going to come in and create a little bit of an embankment there. And then again, I'm coming in with that torn piece of paper and just putting it at a different angle to create some different hills sort of coming in the foreground there. So there we go. And now I want to do a sentiment, and I decided to use the leafy background sentiment here. And I wanted to do the happy birthday, so I'm still going to use that black soot, and I'm going to stamp the happy birthday in the bottom right hand corner here. So I like how that comes out. And then I decide I want to do one more hill, and then I forgot actually to press record here, so unfortunately you don't see me stamp those couple of trees, but they're just the end of that little grouping that I had before. And again, I used that torn paper and just sort of masked it off to create another hillside. And now I'm just going around with that black soot just all the way around the edges here. Again, it helps to create a little bit of depth and continuity with everything that's going on there. So that's pretty much it for how that goes. And I'm just adding a little bit of black there as well, just to darken up the skyline a tiny bit. So off camera, I went ahead and I mounted this onto some black cardstock here. And it was a little bit too big, so I just cut it down a little bit on the two sides, and then I went around and I inked the edges again, just so that I would have that gray soot, or pardon me, black soot around the outside again. So just doing that really quickly on my all-purpose mat here. These all-purpose mats, pardon me, are so great for this. So there you can see I've layered that up with a little bit of black. Now I'm just grabbing my card base here, gonna glue that on the front, and then my card will be all done. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video and how to use our products and create something totally unique. There's a close-up of the card, and you can really see the shine on that close-up there. Again, my name is Sandy Zimmer, and I'm a Close to My Heart maker. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and like and share it if you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in the products, they will be listed in the description, and you can purchase them at sandyzim.closetomyheart.ca. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for watching.